Hello and good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to your Thursday night lovely Pink Puff League race. My name is Dathis. I've got Oscar. I've got Oscar here with me doing our restreaming, and we also have my co-commentator here with Alicel, and we have NG Day doing tracking. How you doing tonight, Ali?
I am doing fantastic. How are you?
Doing absolutely wonderful. A little bit better than I know our restreamer is by seeing Tella start here with what is colloquially known as reject percent, basically. You have the characters that aren't really seen as super strong, but you've also got, they can do work, they're just going to need a lot of help.
Reject percent, of course, being kind of named back in that was the World Series of Free Enterprise where we first saw Reject percent debuted. Of course, we now have a few things to make it a little nicer than it was back then.
Yeah, the advent of the loot waiting plus just being able to keep characters with slingshots and all the lovely goodness. We've turned them from, oh, you have low stats in this, like, well, we can just throw experience at a whole bunch of things. But yeah, the big thing is we are looking for 5 out of the 6 objectives tonight. 2 of them are always going to be guaranteed in the Dark Elves with the Twin Harp, the Forge the Sword with Adamant. And the bonus ones we have are Complete Sealed Cave, Trade with a Pink Tail, find out who is in Kaipo with the Sand Ruby, and defeat the Baron Castle Basement Throne, meaning we are looking for the Odin spot specifically.
And that does mean we are definitely going to need, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 7 key items, if not 8.
And it really all depends on where those key items are hiding, too. Like, we could have the Twin Heart be hard required because it could hold yet another objective. Sealed Cave could be hard required, same concept. And with K-Summon Moon on as well, Baron Basement could be doubly required. We do see Tella's Lovers with a blue robe and a starting Sand Ruby, so we have an objective right off the hop.
Edward having his definite uses, but unfortunately, early game, unless he is rocking a dancing dagger, not exactly who you want to see as a power start.
You best watch how you're saying around our wonderful restreamer, who is both the Puff Queen and very much an avid Edward fangirl, because you need to have the love. We do have the Spoon Flag on, though, so that does mean that if we find that oh-so-powerful non-elemental Ragnarok or Crystal Sword, Edward can do Crystal Sword Cecil things.
Yes, but you have to get in the early game, and speaking of nice pickups, that was a Cursed Ring by Soapbox Gamer there in the Watery Pass, and yes, 1 Tella, but what about 2 Tellas?
I'm here for the scoop of vanilla Tella here, which I'm wonderfully happy with. But yeah, you have Anchor Tella, you have Anchor Item. This is a great way to get started. And again, with Tella here, Watery Pass generally goes up in not requirements or priority, but just like what you really want to go through, because you can loot the entirety of this area with Tella, and it is a very treasure-dense zone.
And talk about finding a Porum. Porum, some people are not as big a fan of Porum. I love Porum because she gets exit naturally. I mean, with Tella, it's not as big a deal. And it's a white mage. Be thankful for a white mage and reject percent.
Oh, absolutely. And let's not even talk about the fact that, again, there's the whole Rosa versus Porum debate that everyone loves to have. But I will say this. I love Rosa. Don't get me wrong. But once you've watched Porum just dodge big bangs, dodge mega nukes, and Rosa eats them full in the face, you kind of gain some respect for the little white mage who could and who does.
I've seen the math behind it. I know that all things are apparently equal, but I think Porum is dodgier than Rosa, especially for magic defense. I've seen her completely have a counter nuke whiff. She's just like, no, not today, thank you. But unfortunately, other than that curse ring at the very beginning, nothing very game-breaking here in Watery Pass, unfortunately, for our runners.
Yeah, that is the whole point of the weighted treasures. Like, sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's really medium. There was a ribbon near the end, though, so you got
that Avenger. I
true.
just realized. Can anyone in this party reject percent? Yes. Is this Telazes?
This is in fact Telazes. I mean, this is Team Tella and Edward, so we're starting off with a great team? Question mark, maybe?
Tellas have diminishing returns. First Tella, great. Second Tella, third Tella, you're just like, can we not today?
Look, at least you have access to Virus with him eventually once you get through things. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's just that getting through things part that we've gotta worry about. We do have to get through Mount Ordeals.
Semantics. No, we have with that Edward with what I see is an archer bow and darkness arrows. You will slowly whittle your way through it, and with Porum there to back things up, you've got some okay stuff. But yeah, there's basically Watery Pass was money percent, and you're gonna go shopping and hope that you find hopefully a decent staff for Porum, maybe better arrows for Eddie.
Yeah, darkness arrows and archer bow. Like you said, you can get through things just very, very slowly. And this is a speed run. We like to go fast here.
I mean, I am known for my love of jet seeds that I keep rolling, but I'm also here to watch some shenanigans happen. There is some shenanigans afoot. Okay items, but nothing really, really fantastic. The nicest thing I think we've seen so far has been that lunar staff. So, Porum, you back row her, she can get some good bonks in. So we are going to possibly see Porum hit things.
Well, and we actually haven't taken a look at our character's gear yet. This is C. Neki, so that Edward could have started with a Dancing Dagger. Dancing Dagger is great early game. We could see a Power Staff on either Porum or the old man, whose name escapes me at this moment.
Hello?
Yes, Tella.
Yeah, and if we eventually do find ourselves a spoon, if we get that Power Staff plus the spoon, we give Edward a little bonk, and he is an angry spoony bard.
And Tella does know Blink from the get-go, so at least you can blink him up because Edward is pretty much a glass cannon.
Speaking of the opposites of glass cannons, these are your buckets of HP here in Mystidia. You have both Sid and Yang, so you have piles of HP that you will eventually get, and and Sid being the highest HP that you're going to start with is very, very welcome. Yang needs a lot of levels, though.
Now, for that Sid, we have seen a Rune Axe and an Earth Hammer, at least on Taco Melt's side. I know that they both picked up that Rune Axe, though.
Yeah, and we also have what is half of a D-Money grind requirement. Those are Ether 2s. I don't expect to see D-Machine grinding happening, but you never know. These seeds can be very wild, and it's always entertaining to see how the different players want to go about it, or how early we see a Darkness Crystal.
I was more excited about those tents. I love finding camping gear in my first 3 shops.
Sometimes finding camping gear in general is just an issue.
I do believe with the better kit, we did see possibly some tents, but those go through pretty quickly, and you would rather have more.
Oh yeah, never have too many. You can't take the money with you at the end of the seed, so spend, spend, spend.
Now, we didn't really talk too much about some of our other flags we have turned on. We do have T Wildish, but we do have the junk flag turned on. So I hope our runners have been getting ready to hit that R button, because you don't want to pick up a bunch of junk.
Absolutely not. And we do see, that rune axe being slapped right onto poor Sid's head. Dragoon armor too. So he's you've got some good armor on him already. That's gonna carry him through. Thunder Poison Claw on Yang with the karate shirt. Yeah, that's fine. That's pretty good. The other nice thing is if you look here, we've, again, Rydia, Tella, Edward, Yang, Porum, Sid only. And Rydia is a restricted character, so we're probably not going to see her. But we do have a bonus round here on top of Mount Hobbs.
Yep. Demist will give a free key item in this flag set, since K no free is on. And Demist is one of those characters you like to see early, or because Demist has HP and is kind of annoying to fight late game. But talk about finding a second Edward there on the way up to Ordeals. You can only find one spoon, and we haven't found anything particularly game-breaking that our runners could use, so gonna go ahead and let this bard take a rest.
Look, he's just going to be waiting at the Tower of Wishes, and that's fine. Yeah, Soapbox getting through that very, very clearly. Also, with that second Porum, that does open us up to, although they'd be low damage, twin strats, because it doesn't mean you need Palom and Porum, you just need two of the twins. So therefore, you have the two of them on your screen, you can cast some AoE magic, so that is a great way to get through this overworld.
And Takumelt is finding the guards up here in the first spot of Ordeals. Soapbox Gamer doing a deep dive of Mount Hobbs, finding mute arrows. Mute arrows, probably one of the best arrows that you're going to find in just unweighted locations. And doing double damage to mage types. Guards are mages.
They are indeed, and yeah, that's going to make it so that while Soapbox has been throwing out a bunch of J items to make good use of that early game, with those mute arrows, yeah, going to make up the extra time and definitely get through that fight almost as clean as what Takamel did, because that Stardust did great effect. Again, J items with the teams that we have here, they are so invaluable, especially the HP-based ones with Sid. You see him popping out about 400 damage on some of them, and especially if they're weak, is a weakness to him, that just makes it all the better. Oh, hey, look, a Dancing Dagger you were talking about.
A Dancing Dagger and a Sorcerer Robe. That's a endgame pickup for that Porum. I would suspect she is going to be using that for the rest of the game.
Oh yeah, that Porum is not going anywhere. Just give her that and go. And I know that Takamel will be very happy when he does go and find, if he does some of the looting that's in here in Antlion Cave. There are some people in the community who say, where is this cave? I've never been there before. And there's also the people who just kind of run through and don't loot. I'm of the camp that I'm just a treasure goblin. I have to find it. Where are my shinies?
Well, and we find Mom Bomb in the back attack location here on Mount Ordeals. I hate Mom Bomb. I hate Mom Bomb wherever you find her. She's obnoxious and I hate her.
And this is a spot that is medium punchy, kind of decent HP, so it's just a problem all around, in all honesty. Sid and Yang doing some nice work, and oh right, it wasn't even the Stardust item, it's the Stardust Rod that Takamel's been using, so it's been like one item on a J item on a stick is wonderful.
Now, the big issue with Mom Bomb, of course, she gets 10,000 extra hit points no matter where she is. This party is not going to burn through that. We are going to see the little bombs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that because again, with this team, little bombs, you're kind of, hey, remember that time when I said early darkness crystal?
Yeah. Well then.
Also, that is an explosion that knocks over some people, and ooh, that is not fun. Those bombs gonna get a lot of attacks in too. The joys of having so many on stream.
Yeah, hopefully Sid can take out enough of these bombs that when they start exploding, they don't outright kill him, because that just feels bad.
There's the first explosion. Oh, he's got more than enough HP. He's perfectly fine. But yeah, it's a scary time when you see the explodes come out, because you're like, how much damage is this going to do? But, thankfully, some of the bombs were taken out, and you only had to deal with the one explode and the one extra hit. And we are going to see what D-Mist is having today. So we have Darkness Crystal, we have our Sandroby. The big nice thing here would be probably Underground Access. Pan's not bad, though.
With a pan, do you fade Fabool?
I am in the possibility of fading Fabool as long as possible. That's just me. I like to have it try and be as efficient as possible, especially with that magma key right up here on top of Ordeals. That is, and this is Mage Central up here too. So those mute arrows, tons of work, easy fights, and yeah, that is a great way to get underground.
Now, I am a little worried. Taco Melt has not done that demist, so does not know that she's just hanging up there on top of Ordeal or on top of Hobbs. It's real easy to go underground and start doing your checks, and then find out, oh hey, my pan was above ground.
Yeah, because you go underground, you go check the Baymarsh freebie, you go bonk yang, you come back, and then you get a whole heap of amount of checks. You get two from the pan and one from Fabool proper. That we're going to see what Soapbox Gamer's doing. And then, yeah, again, the world is open up for Taco essentially. All he has to do is go down and see what's hanging out in Antlion Cave.
Also, here is the officer and soldier fight. This is a fight you would really rather see anywhere except for on the overworld. This is one of those fights you'd like to see on the moon or in the Feymarch cave.
Yeah, this is a really nice location for it. If you're people like us who like seeing harder fights in harder locations, and again, 3 bosses earlier on, that's we've got two of them out of the way nice and early, which does have some foreboding for some of the later spots. I'm curious to what's hiding it somewhere else, but we still have King Queen Eblin, we still have the Dark Imps as 2 of our other free fights.
And technically we have Water Hag, although we have seen a blue robe. Is it Water Hag? Or is it perhaps, I don't know, the Alt Gauntlet?
And one way or the other, that blue robe is going to be required to get to that barren basement, so...
But Soapbox Gamer getting through that Officer Soldiers fight and getting the Luca key. The warp glitch is, I think, not on. Warp glitch is on, so it's one more key item to 10.
It is also the 3rd objective on the list, so unless we find everything else, yeah.
Reading is hard.
Sometimes it is, I will agree. But see, that in lies the question. if you do the warp glitch and you find that you had, say, the Baron key there, and that means that sealed cave would technically be hard required, but the warp glitch meaning that it's not hard required. It's Schrodinger's requirement. Let's put it that way.
I mean, it's also Schrodinger's blue robe. So you have to ask the question, would just doing Luca Cave be faster if that is the alt gauntlet?
With this party right now, I kind of think that it would be a little bit faster, because the only AoE you're really going to have is that Stardust Rod and the Earth Hammer. So you're going to be doing alright AoE damage, but the Stardust Rod especially is a long animation.
That is very true. And we may find something that just makes this seed easier. We could find Iridia and a Leviathan summon, and then the conversation is just academic. I don't think we're finding either of those, but...
Well, you say that, but I'm pretty sure I actually saw the Leviathan summon in that Tomra shop. I could be wrong, but I was pretty confident I'd seen the Leviathan somewhere. That being said, if that is true, and we do find Iridia somewhere very nearby, like you said, there's your AoE damage, and the damage is going to kind of wash away a lot of the enemies upcoming.
But we see Taco Melt heading to the freebie here in the Fey March. This is definitely a good way to head. Unfortunately, Taco Melt not having the demist finish, so doesn't have that pan. Also has not done Fabul. And there's a free Leviathan summon. 40,000 gold. Saved. Beautiful.
Summon in the Fey March? Scandalous.
And that's a pink tail. Would you call that, being the connoisseur of vanilla, would you call that French vanilla pink tail?
I wouldn't quite call that French vanilla. If that was up on the moon, then I would call it a French vanilla tail. Here, it's more of a vanilla latte with a shot of caramel.
Why would you say such a thing? I can't go to Starbucks right now.
I'd like to have it noted that we here at Free Enterprise are not sponsored by anybody that we've just mentioned.
And Tella pulling out Tella Life, but good Tella Life, pulling out the weak spell. That was a recall. You do have a small percentage chance to do weak, and that makes that fight significantly easier.
Yeah, very bold to try and rely on that weak spell. You don't really use recall for anything. I only ever get tier 1 spells out of it, so I'm not a big fan, but Tella does Tella things. Hey, look, a light sword for the Cecil that's not going to be there, and Dragon Whip for who wanted to find Iridia.
I think the watery dragon god kind of beats the dragon whip at this point. Oh, that's free. It's miserable, but it's free.
With Edward, you do have a very free fight on the right side. The left side, however...
Oh yeah, the left side, you're going to need some levels, but that right side with that ribbon and that Edward, that's free. You cannot die in that fight. Again, you would have to take that dancing dagger or those arrows and bow that we found, but it's good to know that it's there.
Yeah, that's again, knowledge is very important within Free Enterprise, and that's the knowledge of we're going to come back and deal with that a little bit later.
And as Frith in chat points out, support your local coffee shop. Get your latte with your vanilla latte with caramel sauce wherever you think it's best.
You just call it caramel sauce.
Yes, it's caramel sauce.
I mean, like, technically you're not wrong, but that's... No.
What do you call it up in the cold north?
I mean, depending on what you're using it for. If you're putting it on, like, ice cream, then I guess, yeah, caramel sauce would technically be correct. But if you're putting it in, like, coffee, it's just like a shot of caramel. You don't call it a sauce when you're doing it that way.
We're just gonna have to agree to disagree on this.
I mean, if that's what we're agreeing to disagreeing to as far as tonight goes, I'm kind of okay with that. But yeah,
But we do see Taco Milk and Soapbox Gamer kind of retreading the same ground that each other has done, although Taco Milk still hasn't done that Antlion Cave or that Hobbs. But while we've got a quick moment, I do want to shout out our behind-the-scenes staff tonight. We have Asuka424 going ahead and rolling us the seed, making the pretty pictures, making everything light up. We have NG Dave pushing the buttons, keeping me on my toes because I have completely forgotten the objectives 4 times now. And of course, we have our runners, Soapbox Gamer and Taco Melt, 2 wonderful puffs, just nice people. Yeah, give everybody a follow. They're all fantastic. Give my co-commentator a follow. He's very funny.
What?
Yes, you are.
Look, I just occasionally talk a whole bunch of memes and occasionally know what I'm doing. But yeah, as well, my lovely co-commentator in Allie, 100% give her a follow. She's, as our researcher would call her, a good, and I very much agree. Allie's fantastic people.
Well, thank you. Heart. And for anybody who is wondering, what is the Pink Puff League? I'm kind of new to the community. I know there's all these different flag sets. Our Pink Puff League, which has been headed up by our wonderful restreamer Asuka, is a league that helps newer and less experienced players kind of learn, hey, these are the kind of things that might come up in harder community races and tournaments. Teaches you the ins and outs of what you would want to know in free enterprise.
It also teaches you to love and embrace the joy that is Edward, our wonderful Spoony Bard. Also, as we've seen, a brand new check, Taco Melt does get that Sheila 1 check. Just a Moonveil, and I say just a Moonveil, but you can kind of toss it on an Edward, and that makes sure that he will 100% be able to hide from that evil wall. Speaking of, that is another Edward and a Sparkle here in that we have in Baron Castle, or sorry, Baron Inn proper.
And that's a Sylph summon. I love a Sylph summon, especially early game. The AoE is great. Well, the AoE healing is great because Porum right now is doing murder things, and yeah, Tella is not the dream when it comes to healing.
No, he very much is not what you're looking for. And Soapbox Gamer, bold call, thinking that he's going to find Iridia, says, I will take this Sylph and hold on to it for as long as possible. I appreciate it. It's going to be a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. But yeah, with all the character selection we still have, we have 5 different characters that can be ungated. And we have seen more Edwards and Tellas than anything else.
Well, and I did notice that Soapbox Gamer having that Darkness Crystal does give us access to a gated character. That could be Iridia. And this is our wonderful friend, our Canadian Nope Rope.
Yeah, you think Leviathan's bad? No. Ogopogo says, hey, you know all that HP you've got when we get to come in here? Hello! I want half of it to be gone. And so it doesn't matter. It's just really rude for the following fight, because it's a little bit of HP you that it has to get knocked down, but it takes a lot. Do we have quarter or do we have full leg? Answer is, we have full leg in a punchy spot where he doesn't really auto attack all that much till later.
Well, and this spot is painfully slow. This is one of those spots that you never want to be on battle speed 6.
However, you are about to watch what a powered up Yang's going to do with an Ice Claw. Casual 30 HP. Answer question in chat. The pan was from D-Mist, which is hiding at Mount Hobbs.
Rubicant was having none of that.
Remember when I say he's slow, but he does get the punches off? Yeah, he hits like a Mack truck.
Well, he just glared our dear Yang. He was like, no, I don't want to be hit for 1700 in one hit.
Oh, you dare approach me with those puny punches?
This Rubicant really wants this Yang dead.
Well, when you do a third of your HP in one hit, yeah, you find a target, so you gain the end that he... Look at that punch! Almost $2,000! That was almost half his health!
So you're saying that Rubicant is being, is like, a big bad that is being controlled by a dungeon master?
Look, I don't know what you're talking about. I would never do such a thing. But yes, absolutely. Also, Yang saying, catch these hands, and Rubicante backhanding and saying, no. But 3 hits, down goes that Rubicante. We have no legs, and we do have our second scoop of vanilla. That is a Baron key. I am very happy with this.
Also, Rubicant on Taco Melt side also going, no, I don't like this.
And here we see the one thing about the different form changes with Rubicante. When he does close his cloak, he actually absorbs the spell of ice, so he heals, but he's still technically weak to it, so the punches really hurt.
Yep, this is a kind of a concept you'll see on 2 of our fiends, actually. Rubicante, of course, being weak to ice, except for when his cloak is closed, unless you're using a physical weapon with an ice aspect. You see something similar with Keinazo, who is weak to ice when his wave is down, and weak to lightning when his wave is up.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you see which of the enemies in this game change weaknesses based upon either forms or if they gain weaknesses altogether. Like, for example, Odin, he has a lightning weakness his entire time. However, when you have his arms raised after his first Santetsuken, he gains a new weakness to lightning. A one-hit KO weakness, no matter what the lightning damage is. So it's really interesting to see a game that was a lot older than the years I really want to mention right now, have such kind of intricate levels of weakness elemental changes in coding so early on.
We won't even talk about what's going on with the elements fight and those weaknesses because it's just silly.
Oh, and the fact that Rubicante becomes a mage apparently at that and has like a mage weakness, you kind of look and go, wait, hold on, why now?
Everything about that fight is silly. If you're ever curious, well, how would I look up the weaknesses and everything? We do have a wiki that you can go ahead and check. We have many members of the community who have done deep dives into just everything about these fights. But we have a new check here with the pan.
Come on, show me a zonk.
Lol.
That's some money right there. You can buy some sirens if you find them.
Yeah, that's like 8 3/4 sirens, I think.
Something like that, or as I like to call it, fat chocobo food.
Look, it's 8 3/4 sirens. It's only fat chocobo food if you do it in front of Zeromus.
Zeromus? No, the only place I've ever given a fat chocobo a crystal sword has been in Eblan Castle, where I find them and then just kind of throw it there and say, this is how it is. But speaking of this is how it is, that is a water hag that was in fact in Baron Castle, so we still have the possibility of Gauntlet being in a very funny and very entertaining location. That being said, we do have Soapbox getting the pink tail, so Key Adams getting pretty tied up here. We do have the lead with the pan of Soapbox versus Taco, but Taco also getting the ability to... Hey, look, the whistle where you can summon the Fat Chocobo. We do have Taco going to be getting through this Baron check and giving us a good peek at this much earlier.
Yep. Finding a nice coffin there. Coffin is a great item, especially when you find those sirens. That first or second egg that you try to kill has a tendency to get a little punchy sometimes. So if you could just get those early levels quickly and kill it with a coffin.
Very much true. Again, and that's a great infusion of some early XP. So we don't have the regular watery fiend here. We instead have Leviathan with a slightly weaker wave as opposed to the normal wave, which really hurts.
Yep, wave, of course, doing 1/4 of your max HP. Ogopogo likes to cast it twice. Leviathan likes to cast it once. But we have a Thunderclaw. Leviathan has a grudge. This Leviathan is very angry.
Yeah, Levi is not exactly who you want to make unhappy, and this is a spot where it has very mixed stats too. It punches fairly well, it's a pretty quick spot. The magic stat is okay. As we see, it's enough to take out the low HPs at this point. But speaking of a quick lit 3, we did get Porum back up, so getting her experience is very much necessary so that she can have, a little bit more HP.
And Soapbox Gamer having more money than anyone should ever need. Let's hope we find some Bacchus and you can buy 50 Bacchus with it.
Hey, look, there's the resident child of water, and and
wow. Now, Taco Melt has not found that Leviathan Summon Orb. Did not see the Sylph. This is understandable, especially if you are hoping to possibly get that Yang up, go with some melee strats.
Look, Vanilla Sprite.
I have one of those on my bookcase.
Wait, Sprite makes a vanilla drink?
Wait, what?
I said, hey, look, Vanilla Sprite. I didn't know that Sprite made vanilla flavors.
No, I have that. Never mind.
What?
I have a Porum holding up my books.
Oh, the other Sprite. There we go. See, look, this is why I have you here with me.
But Taco Melt is going to go ahead and looks like heading to Dwarf Castle, whereas Soapbox Gamer has done some shopping and might want to do a save before taking on that Baron Castle. There's nothing worse than doing a ton of shopping and then, oh, nope, he's just going to leave. That's fine.
Does have that pan turning to still do, so that's 2 checks to do. I very much agree with that. Could also be safe scumming them in case the second Sheila check doesn't really pan out. We do have the first one being, again, the Moonveil, which is, again, very acceptable in some spots, but it really depends on what the second half of that check is.
I mean, a Moonveil does make a handful of bosses completely free. Notably, Octomammoth.
Yeah, and we have not seen the Punchy Tentacle monster just yet, but we will see if the Moonveil is the better of the 2 prizes. Nope, that is vanilla. 3rd scoop of vanilla. Yes, I'm here for it. Let Edward hit things.
Well, the first thing you gotta do is get Edward some survivability.
Alternatively, blink and haha Eddie go burr.
Which brings me back to my 50 Bacchus wines comment, because casting Bacchus takes too long.
I love how you call it casting Bacchus.
Look. I just see it as you've made somebody angry because you've hit him over the head with a beer bottle.
True. But yeah, we do see the aforementioned Octomouth by you, so not in a bad spot. Again, this is a punchy but slow spot. Look at that, 700 damage coming out from Octomom. These punches are not to be trifled with.
And Soapbox Gamer, gonna go ahead and head to the moon. I'm curious if this is a character check, if this is a is going back into
this is
the
a D-money grind.
Oh, I didn't realize that Soapbox Gamer had gotten rid of his Edward.
Yeah, so I agree and I disagree with getting rid of Edward. I agree because we had really nothing for him besides the dancing daggers, and it was okay. But I disagree with it because there are so many great strategies, and as we were talking about with this Edward, that he could do. But now we very much are going to watch an Edward slingshot from okay stats to hopefully over 1200 HP.
Now, I do want to see if, of course, picking up those ethers, this is obviously D-Machine Grind. If Soapbox Gamer is going to check that character on the moon, did pick up that Summon Orb for Rydia and does have that Leviathan.
Yeah, and so this is where it's very interesting. Yeah, it looks like we are going to get a moon check. If Rydia is not there as well, that does mean that we do have, with that Baron key, where we do have a Rydia. As Soapbox, do you feel a little bit bad that you're not going to be getting that character, that Rydia to slingshot as well, or are you kind of just okay with Best Boy?
I mean, you could also find another Porum, get her up to white.
This is very true.
And
hey, look, more vanilla.
Yeah, that's a Golbez.
Hey, look, Porum. Oh, that's a really nice Porum sprite.
That is not a Rydia.
No, but I would almost be tempted to kick out my current Yang for that one just to help with the slingshotting purposes. Slingshotting, by the way, being that if you have two characters that are below the average level of the party, they get double experience on top of whatever bonus experience you'd be getting, which looks like 4, 5, 7 key items. Unfortunately, not double, but just double XP.
And we are seeing a check here. Now, if you find sirens here, do you just take the sirens and go?
You can see that Soapbox definitely would. So this is it. So this is an interesting call. I agree with doing this for one main reason. You have your Spoon Eddie, so he's going to be able to take care of these sirens after you kill the first one with the coffin that we have. After that, yeah, it's without any actual mages or without a Rydia, you really don't want to D-money grind, and especially before 10 key items. So it's very interesting, the experience you see of what is like best to do, and eggs actually come out on top as the best before 10 key items, no slingshot. And they also come out the best at double key items, no slingshot, or double or 10 key items, no slingshot, time investment wise.
Now, we do still have quite a few objectives available, and moon checks are on, so there's nothing worse than getting your characters up to well past Zeromus levels and then realizing, oh hey, I've still got to do all of the moon. But Taco Melt getting that Golbez down.
Yeah, very, very well done. Again, vanilla Golbez, not something you're a fan of seeing here and there. Can be scary, but again, a little bit of HP and you're fine. And 600 damage coming out of that Eddie. Not what you're wanting to see, but again, the smart move of stopping this egg. Not going to see the dragon spawn up, so we're going to get... It's going to be kind of slow, but the first one's always the hardest.
Yep. And it's also very scary if you don't exactly heal up first, and that first egg gets a little punchy. Edward, please.
Yeah, that is the only issue with grinding up an Edward like this. When he is at weak HP and it is not a boss, he looks and says, alright, I'm gonna head out, and just hides a little bit.
Also, that dwarf castle had jokes. There was an Avenger at Luca and a White Spear from the dwarfs themselves.
I'm very much here for that. So that sealed cave is literally just your objective. Also, where did Taco Melt got the tower key from the Baron key?
Sure.
Our lovely tracker keeping us in line saying, yes, that's exactly where it was from. So, yeah, you can kind of do the Baron Castle, get the tower key, and knock out the last gated underground objective before you have to go look at those Feymarch fights and go, really?
Now, I'm curious if Taco Melt is also just doing a character check, or hoping for sirens.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be the character in Sirens, or we're going to see maybe a pickup of... Oh, no.
But looks like Soapbox Gamer is done with his little mini grind. I'm a big fan of a little mini grind before starting to try and take on some of the stuff down here. Get you that much closer to 10 key items, and then you can do your full grind.
Yeah, especially without 10 key items, and if you're not one-tapping these eggs just yet, you kind of want to wait a little bit, and with as close as Soapbox is sitting at the 7 key items, knowing, again, we know that the tower key is available from the Baron key, that's where our 8th one, so we're still kind of missing 2 key items. Oh, sorry, no, Soapbox is already at 8. The tower key would be the 9th key item.
Yep. And let's see. Looks like, yeah, we're going back to the Earth. We found our sirens.
Yeah.
I'm personally not a big D Machine fan. Especially... Yeah, it's great to get Eddie over 1200 HP, but this party isn't like your normal, your Palums, your Readias, everybody that needs nuke.
Yeah, if we had just slingshot that Eddie and that bonus Yang that came from the moon, I do agree with the D Machine grind, because the problem, I say loosely, with Edward is the fact that his HP growth is atrocious. It takes a long time for him to get some good HP. So slingshotting him up to the point where he just goes and doesn't think about it is great. Yang, again, his biggest thing, levels. You throw a whole bunch of those down his throat. If you want nuke, he's got nuke in his fists.
Yeah, but this, like I said, this party, that Porum being the one who has to heal... Porum at that level just ain't the dream. I don't know. I'm not a big D Machine fan. I think there's very specific circumstances where it's great, but Sirens do the job just as well.
Oh, I agree. Sirens are a fantastic resource, and I'm glad that we have access to them here in the seed. But it's that whole knowing when to D-Machine grind, or in certain aspects, knowing when to Mac Giant grind versus throwing out Sirens. It's a good skill to learn and to have in your back pocket, but D-Money grinding is not always required.
And Taco Melt utilizing that stone spell versus trying to do enough damage and having to stop. Tella actually doing his job for once.
Yeah, the nice thing about having him in the center spot, he's almost always going to hit his spells. Again, I say almost always. He can still miss, even with his low stats. But there's still the really good shot that you just keep in the middle, does anchor things, does damage things. It is a good time.
And Taco Melt heading up the tower. I like this play. You take care of what's left here on the underground. Although still does not have that pan. We know it's not required, but dang would it be nice to have that spoon for his eddies.
Yeah, spoon for the Edward, as well as getting closer to that 10 key items, so you get the bonus experience. It's got both reasons why, and I am here for going to the middle to the top as opposed to the top to the middle. So, but we have a Cadenazo here. Again, scary in a very few amount of places, not so much here.
Porum deciding to hit the turtle, try and crack its shell.
Yeah, total of I think maybe 400 HP here when it's when all the enemies are put together. So yeah, nice little. Today we dine on turtle soup.
But I'm trying to look and see. So our runners are still missing both halves of Forge, our Twin Harp, and our Hook to finish the seed.
Yeah, there's still some key items looking. We don't have really enough spots on the overworld unless we get a really good chain going, or unless Taco finds some bonuses up here. I think we're going to be seeing a dive on the moon at some point, but how much we dive is very dependent on what these last above ground checks kind of yield.
And looks like Soapbox Gamer gonna go ahead and possibly be taking on this this Barren Castle.
Now, after you just did a grind to get your Edward up and get some levels there, you see this Rydia, especially with the Leviathan and Sylph Orbs in your inventory. Are you going to be a little sad, or are you just going to grind and get that Rydia up to where she's relevant as well?
Well, I mean, if you can get your 10 key items, keep her down till you have 10 key items, go pop an egg. She'll get the double slingshot. That's a good start. And I know this will give Soapbox Gamer 9, so if he... I don't think... Did Taco Melt check the Barren Basement?
He did not. He did the entirety of the Barren Castle and the Upper Throne, saved, and then left, so we have no idea who is currently in the Odin spot.
If we can pull a second key item out of a very easy boss down there, yeah, that Rydia is definitely on her way. Even if you don't get her up to nuke and just use her and then pick up another anchor later, that AoE would be great, especially for the moon.
Yeah, Leviathan being just a wonderful spell in and of itself. Basically a slightly more MP required Quake and a slower cast, but still really, really good, and avoids a lot of the magic counters you see. does trigger the summon counters that some bosses have in their scripts, which some of them are notably worse, but not a lot of bosses have those that are outside of like the moon bosses proper.
Now, this Dark Elf, we've gotten it into the dragon form. It is possible to start throwing some J items, and, not J items, well, you can throw a coffin and kill it outright. I think. Can you throw a coffin and kill it outright?
I don't believe that the dragon is susceptible to death effects. I could be very much wrong, but I know it is susceptible to weak and susceptible to stop.
Neither of which this Tella can cast because he was turned into a pig.
Doesn't even get a chance to unpiggy himself, but yeah, we have our allies beat him down. That is the Dark Elf giving Twin Harp. That's a little backwards, or is he hiding it so that we couldn't make him weaker?
He just didn't want us to mess with his brother down in the cave.
What would the brother of Dark Elf be in this game?
Do.
No.
Do.
Yeah, the his brother being Pale Dim or White Dragon as opposed to Dark Dragon would be his the alter ego. One that is always resistant and has the boss bit, so it doesn't have to deal with any of those shenanigans. And it's, yeah, not exactly what you're wanting to find on the moon in his village spot, but, you know.
Okay, moment of truth. Do we take this Rydia? Takes the Rydia. I'm surprised getting rid of Sid, though.
And that is an adamant that is coming from the top of tower. That is very much a hard required tower right there. And I'm seeing my name being said in the chat. What did I do?
You brought this into existence because that's less key items that are out on the moon.
Very true, but the other half of Forge could be on the moon behind the same spot as the Earth Crystal or the Hook?
Basically, at this point, Earth Crystal would have to lead to Hook or vice versa to make both hard required on the moon, I think.
Not true. The D-Lunar spot could have both of them.
I mean, fair.
Which that would entertain me to no end.
With a Valvolus there?
Look, I'm asking for entertainment, not rudeness. But also, yes.
Personally, I would like to see my one into the other behind the Crystal Sword Alt Gauntlet.
Everyone loves the Alt Gauntlet. I'm more here for just, like... I'm just here for the shenanigans that is rude bosses in other locations and a weak Alt Gauntlet that you're just like, really? You're making me run through all these fights?
Look, if I can't have it in my first favorite place and my second favorite place, why not in my third favorite place?
What are your three favorite places besides Crystal Sword?
I really, really like it in the tower room and on the top of Ordeals.
The back attack spot for the Alt Gauntlet may in fact be the rudest place for it. Like, let's forgo the enemies that are on the moon that are really rude to fight. Let's just talk about a back attack 8 monster encounter where we have nothing we can do. But we're gonna stop talking because we do have Edward slowly going over to get his harp. We're gonna listen to some wonderful music. And that is Yang dishing out some pain. That was, in fact, Donkey Kong Country music, as we were talking about in chat. That is the other half of Forge. That tower is hard required.
You're in trouble.
When am I not, though? Like, let's be real here.
Because Taco Melt is in Go mode.
Look, I'm not the one who rolled the jet seed. It's the admin who's going to be yelling at me later.
But we know we have both halves of Forge. We have access to the sealed cave, and we can defeat that Barren Throne. I would suspect we are going to see some very, very quick checks from Taco Melt.
Yeah, this is where you start looking. It's like, okay, what's my final party going to be? Because we're just going to go and grind some levels. We're going to do that sealed cave, and we're just going to make some magic happen here. Because there's really no other reason not to.
Taco Melt having that moment of, what character do I want to grab?
Yeah, always wondering, just kind of like, what's a good option here? But also, Soapbox Gamer doing a very good job of keeping his party blinked, letting Edward do some berserk things. I'm going to guess. Oh yeah, that's a berserk Edward if I ever saw one. And the blinks up to dodge these punches, working away at this valve very effectively.
Yep, with two white mages. This fight is basically free. Ooh, crystal rings.
That Eddie will be a speedy, speedy boy.
I just like one for everyone.
Well, if you like your characters, you better put some rings on them. Hey, you volunteered to do comms with me.
And Soapbox Gamer only finding a ribbon here in the Barren Basement Throne. Hopefully going to do the other Earth checks before heading up to the moon.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, if we do get the other underground checks done first, then Soapbox is going to be wonderful, like, in this race here that we have shown, as opposed to the lead that Taco has, based on the fact that he's in Go mode, just needs to continue his checklist. But you can get led astray, because we are technically looking for one other key item before we get, and going straight up to this tower. 100% what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, Moon's scary. And while you can sometimes get very, very rewarded, I believe Soapbox Gamer is still looking for one more key item before doing his grind. So hoping to spike at least one key item out of here, and is going to find everything he ever wanted.
Oh, absolutely. Also, to answer a question in chat, is there a reason for not wearing armor? So, one of the reasons is that we have the Sea Neki flag on, meaning they have no armor, but they have random weapons of a small little pool. If we've just not found any armor for them that's worthwhile, then we're just not going to put any armor on them. It's a little unfortunate when you like, hey, I hope I have something nice, and you just kind of don't.
Yep, plus in a lot of situations, armor versus no armor isn't going to do a whole lot of difference, especially if you have as little HP as our characters do, or if you're young and you have more HP than you know what to do with. And putting armor takes time.
Absolutely. The other thing that we do have here is we do see Taco Melt just going and ripping and tearing through these eggs, which great EXP that we're getting here finally.
We have 10 key items, so getting the 68,000. This is not something that you can do in vanilla. This is something that we have added for the randomizer because, let's be honest, grinds are boring, but you have to do them because it's an RPG, it's a part of the game. So, let's make the grind go just a tiny bit faster.
Technically, I think this is like 12 times faster than it would be, because normally this experience would be halved, and then it's split amongst everybody equally. Yeah, for those of you who don't quite remember the original Final Fantasy IV when going through this, all the experience that would come from an enemy is divided evenly by the players that are currently in your group.
Now, if you really want to do that, that is an option that you can turn on. Nobody uses that option unless they are doing either a mystery seed or a cata seed.
Yeah, and not that there's anything wrong with that. Making this game as hard or as easy as you want is always a interesting time, and just making the challenge just again as challenging as you're looking for is exactly what the spirit of Free Enterprise is.
Absolutely. The best way to play Free Enterprise is whatever makes you have fun. If you want Cecils that have crystal swords and adamant armors and go burr, absolutely play it like that. If you want a seed that takes you 6 hours to complete, and that makes you happy, do it. Just play how it makes you happy.
I have a 6-hour seed, as a matter of fact, that people would like to, if people would like to run it, is from the old Fabul Gauntlet days. It's the cursed seed that I think only maybe 10 people have beaten at this point now. Still probably less than that.
Is it the Floridia one?
No, it's the pizza seed.
Ah.
The infamous seed that Dia actually got through it and said, got to just about underground access, said, "Nah, I'm good." I did that seed. It took me 6.5 hours to get through it. It took me 4 hours to get underground.
Now, what's kind of funny is those seeds that were so hard back in the day, you try them now with all the new tech we've learned, and some of these runners just get through them so quickly.
Yeah, and you see a lot of the runners where they learn new tech, and you say, "Oh, well, I never thought about doing something like that." And it's always fun to learn and see how other people would approach something that you would. And no, it's best to like that. Nope, okay, that's perfect like that.
And if you've never played Free Enterprise and kind of want to get more information, you're thinking, hey, this looks like a lot of fun, join our Discord. We have one of the most awesome, kindest, nicest Discords that I have ever found in all of gaming. We love to answer questions. Nobody hoards knowledge themselves. We find something strange, interesting that happens. You better bet that somebody's putting a post on it and everybody's testing it out.
And if you don't understand why certain things happened the way they did, we are more than happy to tell you exactly why things happened as they did, because that's just it did. It's knowledge is a good thing, and the joy and the love that we have for this game is what brings us all together in the first place.
I'm sorry, did you just open up that chest and get a pass?
Hold on, wait, what?
Apparently passes are in chests. Taco Melt opened the chest that he touched, and it had a pass in it.
And this is why you don't stop looting.
I always get that chest unless I go down the Rope of Shame, at which point I get the chest from the Rope of Shame.
Challenge mode, go down the Rope of Shame. Still get both.
I personally like to loot Luca Cave. I know I'm one of the few, but it's a pretty high tier area, even though it is completely has no trap chests.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with trap chests. Trap doors, on the other hand.
You can turn that flag on too, and go ahead and fight all the trapdoors your heart desires. We have it toggled on, so if you want to fight some trapdoors, you can. If you don't want to fight some trapdoors, you don't have to. Makes this cave much, much less awful.
If you have the right setup for it, the trapdoor grind is actually a wonderful one to do. If you've got either Star Veils or anything else on a character that, or the ability to cast Wall on the character that is casted, and you know what?
That seems free.
I'm gonna agree that's exactly what you want to look into when you see a free King Queen Ebland that was guarding an Avenger that's basically just being sold for goodies.
Yeah, you're just kind of like, can we speed this up? Maybe? Anytime now?
And Soap has done the entirety of the tower, is also in Go mode, just has to do all the checkboxes, and we've got the grind going on here, and does have his Rydia up, so we're going to start seeing some, we're going to see Rydia doing some damage soon.
Now, Soap doesn't know he's in Go mode, because he doesn't have that Legend Sword yet, but makes sense. You have your 10 key items. Go ahead, do your grind while you're down here. Screen 10 transitions take time, and this is just one way that you can just shave time off of your seeds. Don't do screen transitions. Don't do menus unless you're going to be doing multiple things at once.
And additionally, while you're grinding, save early, save often. You don't want to be the one who accidentally either runs from an egg or dies during a fight because of bad RNG and losing all that progress.
Accidentally fights an egg with 1 HP and the thunder comes out and you wipe and you question every life choice you've ever made.
Like, kind of like that?
Yeah, kind of like that, except for you haven't saved in 15 minutes.
Look, we all have grinding horror stories, I'm very much sure. Mine was recorded on the big stage, and to be fair, I did pull it back and recover from it, but when you watch your entire party slowly dwindle away to just your lone Tella in the center during a D-Machine grind, panic is not the word that describes your mentality at that point.
Or when you know you've already lost and you decide to go fight Pink Puffs, but you haven't saved in forever, and you die to Pink Puffs. And you're on the big stage, and you're like, no, I don't think I'm going to finish this seed now. I'm not having fun anymore.
You know what? Sometimes there's nothing wrong with throwing in the towel if you're saying, you know what? No, I'm not having fun anymore. You just say you're done, and you go about whatever else. Again, this is more than... more of just fun. It's a great place to be with friends, and for other people who just really love the game as much as we all do. Never have to stress. Never do anything that you're not having fun with.
Yep, absolutely. That's my number one rule when I roll a seed for people. Have fun. If you're not having fun, don't play the video game.
Comment from chat from Firth is saying, y'all remember more things than I could ever remember. Look, when you have these things happen to you in races and you just kind of look and go, yep, we're never forgetting that one now. That's a core memory we're having unlocked now.
But we do have a moment of downtime while Taco Melt taking on this Valvolus and Soapbox Gamer going ahead and doing his grind. Again, we just want to shout out our behind-the-scenes staff. They are the ones doing the hard work, with Asuka rolling the seed, making all the pretty things happen on the screen, and just setting up this wonderful club for our members as well. And of course, NG Dave, pushing the buttons, keeping track of where things have been found, paying much closer attention to the seed than I usually do. Doing the hard work. Y'all are awesome.
Also, big shout out to my co-commentator Alice over here for keeping entertainment as high as possible, and again, just being a wonderful good overall. And actually, one of our group's admins here, so shows that our admins do help around the community still, and are just fantastic people.
Well, thank you. We have the best members here. You know, Dathis, of course, being an awesome restreamer, commentator. Always a pleasure to do comms with you, although it has been a hot minute.
Absolutely. And speaking of hot minutes, Taco Melt almost running out of MP on one of his characters, does get to that Val, gets that ribbon, but more importantly, gets Objective 6 lit up, and that is going to be a crystal coming in just half a second. 5 objectives complete, and we have Crystal officially ready to go and say hello to Zeromus.
And having just found that pass in that chest, doesn't have to walk down the moon. We are not going to see the lunar subterrane at all in this seed. While we here in the booth and behind the scenes are pretty disappointed in that, I am sure our runners are either in a panic because jet seeds are terrifying, or just thankful not to have to deal with the moon today.
And speaking of our runners, we actually have 8 runners total, 6 that are not being currently featured here on Restream, that are running the seed, and we still have 0 finishers, meaning that Taco Melt could be first place finisher both on Restream as well as in this race proper.
But at this time, I do think we start to get ready to ask a question.
Is it something to do about what the lore of the Pink Puff is going to be?
If the lore involves a butt to kick.
Wait, why are we going to kick a butt? What's happening?
Well, you see, we can't put Zeromus anywhere else because most people don't think that's hilarious. But Zeromus still has to be fought. We still do have to beat the video game. But Zeromus is a huge fan of cosplay, just like several members of our community and of our Restream team here. So Zeromus is going to go ahead and open up his closet and see what he's going to wear tonight.
I like that. I think I may use that a little bit more often. But yes, Zeromus, wonderful. What is it? 530 plus sprites now, done mostly by our wonderful art dev that is Scala Kitty. So yeah, there are many sprites in this pool. Some that are references to other video games, other Final Fantasies, some that are pop culture, as well as some for those who have won past tournaments or who have done exceptional in restreaming or in the community. We have a whole bunch, or stuff from other marathons, which is wonderful to see. But this crystal's going out. We're going to see Zeromus after he does a little bit of growl, and we're going to find out exactly who he is dressed as tonight.
I hope it's a cute butt with a hat.
I want vanilla.
You.
That is Agamus. I've seen this one before, and I can never remember where it's from.
That is from Final Fantasy 1. He's a little jerk. He does not have a cute butt. He does not have a cute butt. He is not wearing a hat. 0 of 10. Would not recommend.
But is cute.
He's a jerk.
I sense you have some feelings about this, but while we have the thoughts of how Ali has feelings about this, one, we have Soapbox going into Cave Magnus, and 2, Taco is about to start really going in on this Agamas, the Zoromas. There's the nerfing of the Big Bang, so the first one's not going to hurt all that much. We're going to have spells reflected off of our poor Eddie, it looks like. And yeah, this Zoromas is going to be taken down fairly steadily with nice hybrid strats.
There's that first Big Bang. Eddie survives! Yay! It's always a sad time when your Edward does not survive to nerf Big Bang.
I mean, he does have the possibility of... It's even the adamant armor, because again, his only problem, as I mentioned, is his low HP growth. Once you get to a certain level, his stats, I think his stats kind of even rival Cecil. HP withstanding.
Yeah, that's true. But, oh, we're talking over music. Wait, no, we're not. Never mind.
We're not quite at the music just yet. But yeah, we have Agamas doing a shake. We're gonna have a Big Bang come out, and I do see. Yep, that is the Silk Web. Should be in time to nerf it. But yeah, we are gonna get some good time here. That is honestly one of the better people to have that nuke land onto, but whew, that still hits real hard.
And we see Taco Melt actually doing a sound cancellation there. I appreciate that.
Yeah, there are a couple of people in the community that have shown people to cancel sound, but while we're canceling sound on Agama's side, we're listening to the DJ Spoon beat.
And we see Soapbox Gamer has finished up with those D-Lunars, gets his Legend Sword, and just needs to forge and finish up that sealed cave.
Yep, now officially in go mode, as we know we were in no mode at that point, but yeah, that is very much just okay, now we got 2 checks to do. Going to be hot on Taco Melt's heels, although Taco is still taking on the Zoromas very, very effectively. We do have Porum go down, however, we have bags of HP and some Cure 3 pots. I think we're going to be fine.
Yep, and we don't have to worry about going right from a Big Bang straight into Meteo right now. I think we should have enough damage to push those 2, although gonna have to re-Zerk up.
Yeah, with that though, it does give you more than enough time to recover between the shakes afterwards and everything. The recovery, the nice thing about Zoromas is once you learn a lot of his script, as much of a pain as he is very, very good to learn how to play around what he can do. You know that this is what he countered with this is how he does this, and he does this, and this. Hey, you know what? I love what Soapbox Gaming does there. A lot of people forget about that hidden chest.
That was a very nice Protect ring. I like that almost as much as a crystal ring.
Which Soapbox then goes, huh, well, here's some goodies. Yeah, we get Porum up, Porum gets Cure 4 going, and we got the crew ready to go and absorb this next Nerf Big Bang.
Now, I haven't really been keeping track of damage, but there's rocks.
Yeah, no need to keep track of damage when that shows up and goes in the third phase, which he's going to just spam meteors, and I think it's 12,000 HP in the last round. So we are going to hopefully see another couple of hits and see this Zeromus go down. Speaking of, that is the crack, that is the bang, that is Zoroagamus crumbling and falling down into more space, and Taco Melt finishing first place overall, not only on Restream, but in the race, of a time of 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 38 seconds. And we're going to see if we can get him in for an interview.
GG's to Taco Melt, and I do believe we are joined. GG's to you.
Thank you very much.
So tell us kind of how you felt in that seed.
Well, disappointed I didn't find a spoon, and I was looking at the end there, I was like, okay, who can I replace Eddie with? And I'm like, whatever. I thought it was pretty good. Everything was like pretty straightforward. There's a little bit of searching there. I was a little disappointed with Dwarf Castle having nothing. But we got our 10 key items and we got our way to there, and I was really surprised finding the pass at the end there. I was like, oh!
Yeah, I love that chest. I always grab it when I touch it because you touch it, but yeah. We were very excited about seeing that pass as well.
Yeah, I bet. Saves you like 4-minute walk or something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it was really good. I was really happy to get a good group started. I was like I said, a little disappointed I couldn't find a spoon. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the where the spoon was. But it turns out the moon was super haunted, huh?
Yes, it was entirely haunted. As for the spoon, your opponent on Restream did find it. Where did we find it, Dathus?
So we found the pan behind Demas at Mount Hobbs in its Vanilla Sheila 2 location.
Wow. Yeah, that's one thing I was going to do. It was in my head. I was like, well, since I was underground, I was like, if I don't find anything, or if I don't find another go mode or anything like that, I need to look for the free bosses. I need to check Hobbs. I need to check Waterfall. I need to check Mist spot for a demist because I missed it. But it turned out to be in Hobbs, huh? Yeah, there's Spoon.
But thankfully, not hard required. Just the spoon, which would have made things a little nicer, but you got through it just fine.
Yeah, I was really happy with my performance there. A couple of mistakes back and forth, but overall, it's improving.
Now, as we see it on stream on Soapbox Gamer's side, when you're going down to that sealed cave for the boss fights there, the magic can be very scary. How did you feel about finding King Queen Evelyn there to end the seed, essentially?
I was like, oh, freebie, great. Free boss, let's go. I like free bosses. I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, that was definitely a nice find versus some of the nastier things that could be there.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of happy to see Vanilla Golbez because he could be in a lot worse spaces, but at the same time, he gave me nothing. So, a pox on him. Well, I guess he gave me experience points, so that's nice.
Now, when you first went down to the Feymarch, were you at all interested in trying to take on that evil wall?
Not the evil wall so much, but the Dr. Luque is typically a free boss, but at that point, I was like, I'm a little bit too weak. It'll be a slog and slow. And, you know, I think the popular thing is Fade March. And I was like, if it was like a super freebie, like a Coffin and Hourglass or something, or like if it was Imps or something, I'd be like, okay, I can take it real quick. But yeah, I was like, no. Not with that group, not with that power. Later, yes, but I'm glad I didn't have to do either one of them.
Yep, you didn't even have to go down to the lunar subterrane at all.
I was happy to find the sirens on the moon, though. I was contemplating, I'm not sure if you saw it, but I was contemplating doing D Machine, because I had bought 3 Ether 2s, and I was like, well, let me check if sirens are there first, because that would be a lot faster for me to go mid-game and then start searching, than having to do 15 minutes of D Machine, which I'm not very confident about, so I was happy to find those sirens.
Well, you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Had a great finish. It was a great seed to watch.
Yeah.
Dathis, do you have any other questions?
The question is, do you recognize where that sprite from Zeromus was from tonight?
What was it again? I kind of blacked out there at the moment there.
Agamas.
Yes. It's always great. I love the sprite work. I think Scarlet Kitty's been adding them. It's really awesome. I think if you haven't tried it yet, if you did the Film Friends one, that was really cool. I think you guys put a little admin shenanigans there to get an appropriate endgame sprite there. I love the endgame sprites. My wife loves them. She always says, "Tell me what it was." I'm like, "Okay."
That's
yep, I think
fantastic.
that's a fan favorite.
Oh yeah.
But no, GG's to you. Again, we know the club season's slowly starting to wind down. How do you feel about the Pink Puff League as a whole and what you've been learning so far this season?
I think it's been really great. I mean, I didn't get into this until like week 1 of Pink Puff. I decided to just pop in, so this is, I guess, my 10th week or 11th week, whatever week this is. Running these, and I've learned a lot. And I like how the seeds like kind of change once in a while. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch every race because, you know, adult things. But it's been really great to learn the different facets of it, and it's been really great to have such a welcoming community, and everybody's helping each other out. It's wonderful.
Well, we've definitely enjoyed seeing just your growth throughout the season. I think I commentated the first Pink Puff race, and I believe you did very well in that first race.
Yeah, I think so. I've gotten pretty good. I've been towards the middle of the season. I had a little slog there. I was getting like up there in terms of places, but lately I've been doing pretty good, and I can only thank everybody's help and guidance for that. So it's been really great fun.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to get to watch you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, again, GG's on your first place finish. We won't keep you, and you have yourself a wonderful night.
You too. Have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.
Again, Taco Melt, your first place finisher, 1 hour, 24 minutes, 38 seconds. GG's to him. And while we were interviewing him, we had a fast and furious level of finishes. 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 8 seconds, just barely 30 seconds behind, even to the 100th of a second. It's Crispy Slick is our second place finisher overall. Then we have eNinja81 finishing at third place with a time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, 5 seconds. And Vita Fro, who just finished with a time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 40 seconds. GG's to all of them.
And we also saw Soapbox Gamer go ahead and get his crystal. Unfortunately, he did not spike the pass in the chest there, but walked the lunar subterrane and getting ready to take on this Zeromus.
Yeah, and this just shows the other way we have down. If you can't find the pass, you do have to take the long walk. It is several different scenes, but as we see, it is, if you've navigated it once or a few times before, it's just that little like, okay, we're almost there, time to go. Wait, here's another screen. Oh no.
You get to the point where you can muscle memory this, as long as you don't think too hard about the way down to the moon. You're like, oh, I'm already at Zeromus. Yay. Go brain. Go fingers. But, of course, then you have to walk out of the moon sometimes, and then your brain just says no.
Sometimes that's just how it is. But yeah, we see Soapbox approaching Zeromus and is going to fight Agamus and going to be getting through his own fight, which looks very much more of our hybrid strats. We have Porum and Rydia doing things. We have an actual spoon word, so we're going to see a little bit more damage than what Taco Melts had. But yeah, it's going to be more of the same, with attacks being flung furiously from all sides.
This Edward, having about 200 more HP, should be a little bit safer, at least with the first Big Bang. I didn't see if we got Rydia all the way up to nuke or not.
That HP, yes, that is a nuke level Rydia.
And we see that Silk Web going out, waited a couple of ticks just to make sure that it was going to brood.
You know, Eddie, yes!
Oh my gosh, he lived.
I'm not gonna lie, I am a little surprised. I expected that to do about like 1,500 damage, especially watching Taco Melt's characters being hit for like 18 to 2,000 on counter nukes. Speaking of nukes, there's a good little hit.
Let Rydia nuke things.
Indeed, and Portella, he's trying to berserk up Edward so he can do some damage, but this is gonna, yeah. Good night, Sweet Prawns. You were with us from the start. Have a good nap.
That Rydia did not take any damage from that Big Bang.
No, she did not. It's the entertaining part about the fact that she has a higher wisdom stat for a black mage, so she just... Sorry, a higher willpower stat, so she just looks and goes, yeah, I'm like a pseudo-white mage, essentially.
Now, I don't remember if Soapbox Gamer found that Stardust Rod for that Rydia.
I think it's just a Lilith or Charm Rod that's currently on that Rydia, but popping out 8,000 nukes is still nothing to scoff at. Yeah, counter nukes or nukes coming out. Well, I guess that was just a low roll. Is 6,000, but still, all the damage coming out from these characters here. Edward pumping out 3,000, Yang popping out 2,000 to 4,000, Rydia popping out 6. This is again not a. Is this going to be the short fight until we see the reflect? The HP tip, which probably is going to happen soon, if not has already happened.
I just hope this white comes out in time and that we don't murder our Yang.
No, with the shake that happened, we're not going to see a black hole. So it's going to either be a second shake, which should happen after the white, probably, or this big bang that's going to happen. But yeah, white definitely coming out first. It's this poor Agamus is in a little bit of agony.
Thanks, I hate it.
You're welcome. And we even have Rydia saying, you know what, we're just gonna straight up direct nuke to nerf it. Again, different. It's any magic that's also 7,500 even, very much a a nice little happiness there. And yeah, Pora taking hits like a champion.
And out comes the Cure 4. I think that this is now in the bag. There's not much to worry about.
Yeah, we have the Big Bang coming back out, so it's going to hurt a little bit, but everyone's going to really survive, and it's just... Yeah, Yang... Ooh, never mind. That poor Edward is eating a little crow.
Yeah, that did not look as nerfed as the first one. But
that is
it doesn't matter. Rydia taking it home. And Soapbox Gamer finishing in 5th place with an official time of 1 hour, 39 minutes, and 29 seconds. GG's to Soapbox.
Again, GG's to Soapbox, and we'll see if we can get him in for an interview. And yeah, with what we call the Reject Present kindly, this is basically what we were expecting to have happen. Edward, if we find the spoon, Rydia, Porum, kind of your mage de jour, so they're going to be what you're needing. Yang, again, just solid overall. Elemental weaknesses to bump up his damage, and then levels to cover everything else. Very solid.
But while we wait for Soapbox, one last time, just want to shout out our runners, Soapbox Gamer and Taco Melt. 2 fantastic runners have been putting in the work on the Pink Puff League and other places. Our behind-the-scenes staff, NG Dave doing the tracking, Asuka doing the restreaming. Dath is here in the booth with me. It's been a pleasure, y'all. And I believe we are joined by Soapbox Gamer. GG's to you.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Doing pretty fantastic. So let's go back to the beginning of that seed. One of your objectives is the Sand Ruby. You go and you find yet another Tella to be paired with your first Tella and your Edward. How are you feeling about your superior power to start that seed with?
Oh, I was so happy. I want to put my head through a wall. I'm like, I don't need all these old guys around. I just need 2 of you, or 1 of you.
There is, in fact, no country for these old men. But Mysidia did have the other half of the old men, which was both Sid and Yang. So very much nice to see them.
Yeah.
The early-ish Spoon. Now, that was kind of a game changer by comparison to you and Taco Melt. He did not find it, whereas you did. How happy were you to find it?
I was just glad to have any DPS at that point, because I'm sitting there with 2 Porums and a Twin and 2 old people and a Yang that really can barely hit a fly. And I needed something. I'm like, how am I going to get up ordeals before I can even get this going? And then everything just opened up after that. It was one of those things where I was like, slow up the hill, and then all of a sudden, alright, we got places to go.
Another thing I want to comment on, you were buying the summon spells for Rydia, even though you hadn't quite seen her yet. Were you just that confident that you were going to find one that wasn't hidden behind the giant, or behind a package hidden somewhere rudely, or was you just like having those on hand?
I rolled the dice thinking I'd bump into her at some point, because if I see it in the shop, I'm not going to leave without it. Especially in a seed like this, where having her is pretty much paramount to speeding this up. And the second I found Sirens and stuff like that, I'm basically just waiting for her. And once I had her, luckily it was right before Baron, and I was able to sneak through the basement with her down and then just get everything pretty much grind away immediately, and then I was like, alright, let's finish this stuff.
Now, so we get to a little bit more of the mid seed. You're still looking for some key items. You have enough. You have eight key items, but you still don't have your go mode. That Fey March with Dr. Luge and with the Evil Wall, did that ever come across your mind as something to go against, or were you just like, nope, we're going to do something else?
Yeah, I had no interest in doing Evil Wall whatsoever at the Queen spot. None. I wanted no part of it. I don't want to be anywhere near it. I figured it was a total time sink. I'm like, if I got to go down there and bang my head against both of those things, more than likely I'm finishing back in the pack anyway. It turned out it was going to be that way, but I'd rather not have those two bosses dictated at that point.
And you know what? Fair, good intuition, and glad you didn't take that possible bait. But yeah, so we get to roughly about the end, and you're looking at your party, you're getting your sirens up. Were you mostly happy with the fact that it was Spoon Eddie and Nuke Rydia, basically? And again, Yang when he gets some levels. Were you happy with the party overall, or how do you feel about reject percent?
Well, reject percent makes me think, and roughly with a party like this, if I'm under 2 hours, I'm happy. But then I looked at all the finishing times, and I guess, well, everybody brought their A game this evening, so GG's to all of them. I mean, I'm sitting there, I'm like, if I finish somewhere like 90-ish minutes, under 2 hours, I'm happy with these flags. And everyone blew it apart in an hour 20, hour 30, and I just can't help but giggle. It's like, well, we had things to do today. But I was okay with the party the way it was. I mean, you give me a Spoon, you give me a Young that can punch stuff, you give me a Rydia with at least, Leviathan, I can make it work. I mean, it takes time, but, I'll make it work.
Wonderful. And yeah, as I asked Taco Bell, with the club season starting to slowly wind down, how have you enjoyed this season of the Pink Puff League?
So, I'm still learning a bunch of stuff, which, by far I'm happy about. But, I mean, just seeing the third season of Racers come in, I feel like I'm just trying to keep up because everyone's getting better so quickly. And it's one of those things where you almost feel like you want to keep up, and it actually makes you want to keep playing, which is really kind of cool.
Awesome, that's wonderful to hear. Allie, do you have any other questions?
No, I think you covered pretty much everything I had.
All right, excellent. Soapbox, any other comments you want to make on the seed?
Have karate shirt will travel. I think I found about 5 of them. But other than that, no, GG's to everybody else. What a great race. I mean, everybody crushed it this evening. I mean, I'm still happy with a 139, but 124, 132, good for everybody else, man. Wow.
Yeah, with that seed of 139, very respectable time. You should be very happy with that. But yeah, we won't keep you much longer. GG's and have yourself a wonderful night.
GG's. I appreciate the restream as always, and I appreciate the job you guys always do. I really, it's always good to be here. Take care.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And while I do believe we are starting to finish our broadcast, one last thing I do want to shout out is if you are ever interested in being part of the behind the scenes, the commentary, the tracking, the restreaming staff, definitely sign up in the Discord. We are always looking for more volunteers. We love to have you. We work hard to make sure everybody is informed, is taught how to do a role. We're not just going to throw you into the deep end. We have done that so you don't have to. But once again, thanks to our runners, thanks to our behind-the-scenes staff. Yeah. Dathis?
Again, I want to do a big shout out to you for joining me in the booth here, and yeah, for the staff behind the scenes. But that is going to be all from us today. However, first of all, tomorrow we do have our Free Enterprise Friday Night Community Race at 10 o'clock Eastern on Free Enterprise 2. Again, change the time zone to what is local for you if you are not in Eastern. We will be glad to see all of you there. And additionally, we are going to raid yet another Free Enterprise community member. we're going to go raid Luffloof, who is doing a Trigger Trials seed. One of our more difficult seeds within Free Enterprise, so feel free to give them lots of love while we go and say hello to them. And again, no spoiling the race you just watched.
Thanks so much, y'all, and have a fantastic night.